Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed and now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Fire and Bloom, a House of the Dragon podcast by us, the Penny Bloom Podcast. Our hook is that we have never read Fire and Blood. We've got no fucking idea where we're heading, and, you know, this is a little embarrassing on our part as well. We didn't even really know we were heading within the show. We were under the impression that the season would be 10 episodes, not 8. So all of a sudden, we've got half as much time left as we'd previously thought. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, so Fire and Bloom, that's us. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you. Yeah, that was a fun revelation last night.
Whoops. Yeah, that's all right. I guess it just goes to show how little we really were looking into the future of the show. Like I am doing everything I can to avoid
to
Googling,
be as blind as
like,
fuck. Yeah.
Like there's so many questions I want answered, and I feel like a simple Google will answer the question, but I know it will spoil the probably the rest of the season
else.
Something. I guess the 8 episodes just escaped us. I don't know, but that's
it did. It slipped through the cracks. I'm sure that was confirmed at some point. It obviously was because that's how many episodes the show is. That had to have been reported. I completely missed that report, and I've just been operating under the assumption that it would be the same length as season 1. Yeah. Either way, we are here to discuss season 2, episode 6, the new episode titled Smallfolk. It was written by Eileen Shim and directed by Andrzej Parek. And, wow, this was another solid entry into the show at large. Season 2 has not disappointed, which is one of those reasons I can kind of be like, okay, you know, if it's going to be 8 episodes, all right, you know, fine.
We're doing okay so far. You know, at least maybe our minds were under the assumption that we still had 4 episodes left, so I was kind of spinning very, very different storylines. So now I'll have to kind of refrain or kind of.
Well, and like I don't know how much. Now I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, all that means is that we're probably just not going as further ahead into the future in this season as we thought. They're just going to cover a little less time, you know, like that's. They're still going to do everything we anticipate they are going to do. We just won't get as far with some of the longer term stuff as we thought. Like, it seems imminent that this season will culminate with the battle at Harrenhal. Aemon's sending Kristen down there. Daemon's getting his forces. Jace just made that deal with the twins to let the Northerners come south. It feels like that is the possibility for the way the season culminates. Now, is that next episode? You know, is that the penultimate? Is that how we do this, or is that going to be the finale? You know, this show hasn't adhered to the Thrones. You know, the penultimate is the big one, you know, because 9 and 10 last season were like mirrors. 9 was the green story, 10 was the black story, and that was kind of it.
Do you think
so it's interesting. I don't know.
Do we get a green heavy episode and then a black heavy episode again for the last
Could be.
2?
I don't think we can afford that. I think first season that worked a lot better for the structure of the story they were telling. But I don't really see how we can spend an entire episode with one or the other right now, especially with the Greens, frankly. I don't know how it would be possible to spend an entire episode with the Greens. I mean, they obviously could, but, like, I don't know that I would want them to. You know what I'm saying? Like, the season started as being like, I was like, greens, give me the greens, you know, like I want to see what's going on there. And then the Battle of Rook's Rest happened, and it pivoted after Rhaenys' death to being like, okay, Daemon's off the deep end, Rhaenys isn't around anymore, let's check out what's happening with the Blacks, you know. So like the front half was the greens part of the season, the back half has felt like the Blacks so far, at least for me as a viewer. What's been most exciting to me. And I don't know, I'm happy with this episode though, and I'm happy with where it's heading. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about the season length thing. I generally have a problem with this across all TV currently.
Yeah, a little disappointing to hear. Whenever the news
I'm like,
broke,
I just want more. I just like, maybe it's just greedy. maybe I'm just a greedy viewer, but like, I don't know. And it's not that they haven't been able to accomplish a lot, you know. It's not like Thrones where the last couple seasons they cut down episode number immensely, you know. The last 2 seasons were 13 episodes combined, which is absolutely fucking nuts. If you do this early enough, if you cut down early enough and establish that this is the rhythm with which you want to tell the story from here on out, it should be fine. Especially since this 8-episode season is intensely better so far than either season 7 or 8 of Thrones, and I could hear an argument even for other seasons of Thrones, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, I guess if you are going to shorten it, at least have the juice. Don't just, I guess, do the same thing, go to the same pitfalls, whatever. But
well, that was the concern with, you know, what I just said. Like, they're still going to do everything they intend to do. We just won't cover as much time. When you decide the last season's going to be 6 episodes, we do 2 seasons worth of material in 6 episodes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's...
Yeah.
If you establish early enough that this is the pacing with which you are going to tell the story, it should be fine.
We're good.
You know, like, yeah. So it's cool. It's cool. Especially when you have hour-long episodes.
It was
that really helps.
Yeah. This
not 35-minute 8-episode season like another Star Wars television show we just finished covering.
Beefy. You get
beefy
to sit with it every
They are
week.
giving you a drama, and I appreciate it. But we will begin at Harrenhal for our breakdown here. Daemon sees Viserys for the first time in his visions, which we had speculated. It felt inevitable. It was like, come on now, let's see Viserys. It was nice to see Paddy Considine again. However, this opening for him was underwhelming as hell for me. I expected a lot more out of the return of Paddy Considine, to the point where this sequence even made me question if Paddy Considine was actually there.
I don't know about the throne. When he's on the throne, I think they reused, or it felt like there was recycled material, and then just they're obviously not in the same room together, and then eventually we'll get to where it's clear that they are in the same room together.
There is one scene that feels very strong between them.
But the throne room was, I don't know.
And, you know, it benefits from the fact that it is supposed to feel weird. It's supposed to feel not real. It is supposed to feel... But, like, the reintroduction of Millie Alcock, that hit like a truck. And Paddy Considine deserved every bit as big a moment as it felt like Millie Alcock got there. So this was just kind of underwhelming to open the Harrenhal thing. However, I do appreciate the perspective they're taking with Daemon being haunted by Viserys. Kind of hammering home the deep disappointments with him later in his life. You know, here being like, did you say it? You know, one of the more formative conversations between Daemon and Viserys. This is what officially lost him the title of heir. After this, Viserys goes and tells Rhaenyra, "You're my heir." You know, like
this is true. Heir for a day, the one thing, and boom, all gone. I'm
assuming it bubbled up to this point, but this was the straw that broke the camel's back.
True.
You know,
and for Daemon, this would be the moment, the defining, and where it all stems from for him.
And the things that makes this a little different is that I love the way they portray Viserys through Damon's eyes as pitiful, which we already kind of felt that way, but it's a different level through Damon's eyes. He finishes his, laughing with your whores and your lick spittles, and he does that, and then he starts breaking down. He starts sobbing,
Yeah.
And Damon tries to claw the door. He tries to get out any way he can. He's just like, I think Damon just feels responsible in a way for Viserys's deep unhappiness at the end of his life. At a time whenever he could have helped his brother more than he did, he didn't.
Oh man, yeah. The Damon storyline has been. It's been cool and interesting and mysterious, but now
needs to fucking go.
I guess this episode, it finally got like, I don't know, it's still the same kind of stuff, but at least it took like a turn where I see where it could culminate now, sort of. I feel like there are strings being pulled now, or there's something going on where it's, but I still don't know what the heck. The ending is
That's
gonna be.
what makes me go like,
but
how much did this episode really change circumstances for Damon?
Maybe it's just Alice, and when we get there, I can go into Alice. That's where the main suspicion is just with her. So it's just that.
But had it not already been there?
That's fair.
That's
valid.
That's
it's
why
always
I'm like,
been her. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
From the jump, we were like, "Who's she?" So
who's that? That's why I'm like, and I agree that this episode just continues to further evidence in that corner. It's just that, like, what is this, episode 4 that we've done this? Did he come here at the end of episode 2?
I think was the end of episode 2.
He's been there for 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Did he claim Harrenhal at the end of episode 2, or was it at the beginning?
I think that was
3?
the beginning of 3.
So he lands at Harrenhal, or is on his way. Yeah, he leaves. That's right. We see his dragon leave, and that's the cliffhanger. And okay, so 4 episodes.
He claims Harrenhal the same episode Rhaenys dies, right? That was episode 3? No, that was episode 4.
I think, yeah.
Okay, so it's the episode before Rhaenys dies.
Which, Rhaenyra infiltrates the city. That's the big thing in 3, I guess. Rhaenyra going into the Sept. But I think at the beginning is Daemon and Harrenhal, I think. And it's just because I thought he was going to have to fight people, and I thought a big fight was going to break out, and he just was like, I am taking Harrenhal. And I'm like, it was that easy.
Okay, so, cool. But yeah, no, so like, I'm cool with it, especially if they are pacing this story in a way that is like, it's been interesting character exploration, But I think we've done as much as we can here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We get that he's tormented by his pet, but why? What is this? What is this for? What is this? Is this making him?
And
realize
I'm assuming
he has to go
it will
back to
be.
Rhaenyra? Is this like to give up his claim?
When he was like, "I'm leaving," I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "Thank God, please get out of there." Just kind of like anything to push this story in a different direction than where, like, because I just want it to develop. I'm fine with the direction it is going as long as we get there. It just doesn't feel like we are getting anywhere right now, and that's everywhere else. The story is continuously being pushed and pushed and pushed, which makes me think that, like, obviously it's a deliberate choice to be dealing with Daemon on this level. To what end, though, I still can't see. And that's tough to deal with for so long. But regardless, it's still strong sequences, As he tries to claw and bang at the door, it swings open and Lord Strong catches Daemon, and Daemon accuses the Lord of treachery, says there is something afoot and that he has done it. He holds a knife to his throat, and Strong tries to calm him. Him like shushing him like a child or a wild animal.
I don't know. Like there's a weird, like on rewatch, at first I just, it's like he's just trying to do he's like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like he's coming through the door and like freaking out, whatever. Now watching the end, is he aware of what's going on right now? Is he aware of like that he is having a vision on the other side of the door and that I don't know. Is this an act right now that he's putting on?
Right. I have a really tough time buying that. I do. I mean, like, if they can sell that hard in the next 2 episodes, yeah, I'll accept it. Like, it's not something that I'm like, there's no scenario in which I can imagine that. But right now I haven't been given enough evidence to suspect him of being in the know on what's happening with Damon. I mean, I believe he could suspect it. I can't imagine Damon's the first person to have experienced weird shit at Harrenhal.
Maybe it's just known. It's just like, if we put someone in that bedroom, they're fucked. Like, it's just
right.
It's the cursed room. But
could be. That's why, yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. That's what I'm curious to see how that. Like, that's the thing, is that like we haven't been given enough to even like go on. And that's fine. They're building an interesting mystery. Is it even a mystery? I
guess the only thing I could see it being used for is the Strongs having a hold on Damon, like being able to blackmail him or being able to just control him and use his name as like their own and do things that they want to do with the power of the crown, but things that Damon or Rhaenyra would never approve. But
right.
But then say they have complete control over Damon. They have something, I don't know. Alice can control him at every instance. Can they even still really accomplish that?
Use him?
Is that even?
That's where I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I would love to know. I would love to find out. I would love to go with you here. I literally have no fucking clue. That's my
Alice
and
just
that's the thing, is that
me too much. I think I need to just. It's just creepy shit. It's just haunting shit right now. That's all it is until it's more. Like it's.
Yeah, because I mean, like, obviously she's got something. She's got something going on. To what motivation or end? I got no clue. I have no idea. But Damon ultimately backs off, but he still appeared ravenous and crazed. And everyone's like, okay, back out slowly, sir. And he's got like tears in his eyes. He's like, like, stop following me is like what he says on his way out of the room. And they're like, and Strong like looks away and just like looks to a different part of the room, is like, okay. Yeah, I'm going Matt Smith for my performance this week. In an episode that was full of just brilliant performances. This was really difficult, but we've seen Damon lose his shit. We've seen him get angry. But most of the time, if he's not angry, he's really, really well collected. And there's like a seethingness to him, or a smugness or something. I feel like Matt Smith really got to do shit this week. And, we've seen him with like tears in his eyes when Lena died, and whenever he sees young Rhaenyra, he like chokes a little bit, he's like, whoa, but like he got to go all the way into that this week, and it was really, really nice to see, because Matt Smith is extremely talented. So I loved that.
He was the first thought I had of knocking down in the performance box as well. He was like right at this scene, and then a lot just came on. I'll spread the love to someone else.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of good stuff.
He definitely
there's a lot of
it.
good stuff.
Yeah.
But he finds his way to the yard where Alice is. He's on his way out. He's leaving. He's been poisoned. Something's wrong with him. He can't stay. And she says that, no, that's something more mystical than that. And he's like, no, it's fucking not. Stop that. I don't believe that. And she teases him about running from his problems. She says that there are old things in this world, older than they can comprehend. He, like her, is a piece on the board, not the player.
That's probably my line of the episode there. Yeah, it was just a whole, like, Alice just dropping some philosophical bombs here, just being like, yeah, there's like, you think like we're the oldest shit? Like, there's even older shit than thought, than consciousness, dude. Like, I don't like, and I'm like, what the fuck is she going on? And then, but no, it was, and then just the kind of like this very interesting conversation of like, of her being like, Damon saying, you're nothing like me, but then her being like, in some ways, no, but in others, yeah. Like, there's, like, what is she? Is it just literally they are a piece on the board, and that's what she means? Is that we're all just the same human, And
well, I think there is a certain element of. I do think that's more what she's getting at, and that like we're pawns in a larger game. You know, like yes, we have our individuality, but ultimately we are not the be all end all. Like there are powers bigger than us that we can't comprehend. Therein, yeah, we're not the same, but we have the same functionality in the end. Is kind of how I took what she was saying, but I did appreciate that her is she lying to him? I don't think so. You know, I took her at face value when she says, you know, we're not the players, we're the pieces on a board. You know, like I do think she's doing something, and I do believe she has some sort of means to an end, but I still don't know what that means. You know, like is she being used by someone? She doesn't seem like the type who would be used by someone. You know what I'm saying? Like she seems like the type who would do what she wants to do, and therein would take issue with being called a piece on a board and not the player. So that's where I'm like,
have we heard of any like I don't know, religion like the Brotherhood or like the not Night Sisters, the Red Priestess.
Red Priestesses.
Like, is there anything where they think of like pieces on a board? Maybe like even the House of Black and White. I'm trying to think of anything that is remotely in the same kind of like.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm like,
it seems that
Alice does not fit into any dogma we've seen.
Yeah.
You know,
what god would she like pray?
Well,
to,
and she's continuously at the werewood tree. That's kind of where he finds her.
Okay.
Over and over. You know, like.
Okay, so maybe it's more just an ancient magic thing. It's just like
like the old gods. You know, like maybe there is. You know, there are things older than any of us. You know, like it would make sense if that's kind of what she. It'd be cool if we finally got something with the old gods and this mystical thing, because they were kind of absent from Game of Thrones. It felt like they felt like the only ones you could go, yeah, they don't seem real. You know what I'm saying?
People were like, I will pray to them. It's like the old gods and the new, but it's like, we only really ever hear about these new gods, you know, or whatever.
But the werewood trees are used for the three-eyed raven stuff, you know. So like there is. There is a connection there. That's why I'm like, maybe there is more of a three-eyed raven connection than I want to do it than I expect. But like,
feels like the only
I don't
route.
see where it would come from. You know, that's why I'm like, we'll see, I guess. But she says his anger blinds him, and he restates that Rhaenyra never even wanted the throne, which Alice says is perhaps the reason she is perfectly suited to it. The crown is not a prize to win, but a burden to bear. Viserys wore the burden, and now so does Rhaenyra. And he asks her counsel for dealing with river lords. I love that even in his crazed and maniacal state, he's still like, yeah, you've got this shit kind of figured out, huh?
He's like,
I need your counsel about how to deal with these motherfuckers. And she's like,
yeah. Targaryen asking
want
for
help?
my help. And he's like, no.
Counsel
is what I said.
Yeah.
He's like, can never admit it, you know, but, you know, this... I don't know, a good scene between two just weird motherfuckers. You know, it
was great.
Some weird people in thrones, but
yeah, I loved this sequence too, where she's like, House Tully is the most stable of houses in the Riverlands, not the richest or the strongest, but they have always been there. She says that the other river lords are like mud; they'd rather be stuck in it than yield 1 inch to one another. She tells him to do nothing, and then she sticks her arm out, and an owl lands on it, and she goes, "In 3 days' time, the winds will shift." And Daemon's like. What the fuck? You
gotta trust it after the owl. I think that's the purpose of the owl, because if she just says, like, wait 3 days, don't do anything, I got you, it's like, okay. But the owl is kind of like, oh, no, I'll wait 3 days.
Yeah.
It's kind
of... She's got something going on, huh? No, it was good. I liked that. But later on in another vision, Daemon attempts to comfort his brother as he sobs over his dead wife. He wasn't there when he needed him, but he's there now. And I appreciated this sequence because Daemon has continuously been trying to get out of the visions he's experiencing.
Oh.
And he just kind of surrenders to this one, and kind of takes the opportunity to be with his brother when he can. And then to wake up to news of a lord who died of illness and old age and all that, and being like, breaking down whenever Strong walks away. Like,
oh my god,
yeah.
dude,
like there's
maybe he's just finally learned. Like he's because
surrendering
he wasn't
to the current
there
a little bit
for Viserys. Like everything else
yeah.
was like replayed as it actually kind of occurred. Well, I guess with young Rhaenyra, that's kind of
it was a little different, but like it was all stuff he already knew. You know, like her being like, "I'm always here to clean up your messes," and you know, like I always worshipped you. You were a god to me, and you abandoned me. You know, like so it has always been kind of his guilt festering in a way, but it was all stuff that he was like that's been made clear to him for the most part. Viserys doesn't accuse him of shit, you know, whereas Rhaenyra does. Viserys, I feel like there's something with Viserys that makes him feel like his brother was too nice to ever
accuse him,
say anything like that, you know, like, and that might make him feel even more guilty than Rhaenyra ever could, you know, like, the person he should have loved unapologetically loved him unapologetically, and he couldn't reciprocate, you know, like,
damn. No,
but yeah, I loved that sequence, man, where he just embraces him, and this is the scene where I'm confident Paddy Considine is here and present. This is a good scene.
Oh yeah, that little smooch, the little like smooch on the top of the head. Damon gave him, you know, a little comfort. It was this felt nice, and at least like Paddy, this felt more genuine too. It was just all like thank you. Like I felt like the earlier scene should have been just like this. I don't know, like this. I don't know really what happened before, but this just felt actually genuine, and because I wanted to be able to be like performance nod, Paddy Considine, or character of Viserys, but there's no way. There's no way I can give either of the nods to Paddy.
Yeah, I really wanted to give it to Paddy Considine, but then like there was that weirdness to it where I'm like, is he actually even there? And I couldn't do it, and I felt bad. But yeah, he awakens from that vision to be informed by Lord Strong of Lord Grover Tully's demise. The boy Oscar now rules the Riverlands, and Alice spared her talents in an attempt to save the Lord's life, but to no avail. And this pleases Daemon, who, upon Strong's departure, immediately breaks down into sobs. That was another reason that I really like Daemon, is because like the whole time he's like, Strong's talking to him, and he's got like this smirk on his face, like, ho, 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 here we go. He walks away, and he's like, oh, God. Yeah, and you're like, what the fuck,
Homie
man?
was just keeping it together for as long as he could, and he's like, finally, I can cry on my own. But yeah, he's changed. Like, that's not, I don't know. This is not normal Daemon behavior. He is like...
No, it's not. And I don't know if it's that he's surrendering to the fact that he doesn't have a choice in this, you know? Like, it felt like previously he's been fighting it. Maybe there's an element to it now that he's like, fuck it, man. I've clearly not been able to stop this. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if the Viserys visions were just like kind of too much for him to bear, you know? Like, he's continuously... Rhaenyra's still around for him to fight with, and still around for him to actually talk to and go toe-to-toe with. I think the Viserys stuff really makes him reckon with the fact that there's there's nothing he can do about this, you know? When it comes to Laena always, like, it's interesting that all of them kind of affect him in a different way. Like, Rhaenyra makes him mad and motivates him. Laena kind of stops him in his tracks. He doesn't even know what to do when he sees Laena. You know, he's like, that's when he just kind of stumbles over his words and stands by the fireplace and doesn't say anything. He's like, I don't even know. And then Viserys made him break out in sobs. So, like...
Wow. What a... Like, weird that he is just kind of like a sideline or just kind of a not... like. Sort of a non-factor.
I'm glad we're keeping up with him. You know, like that's one because again, I love Matt Smith. I love that this storyline has given us a chance to see young Rhaenyra and Viserys and Laena again. You know, I actually do quite enjoy Lord Strong. I think I like him a lot. It's just I already thought we were kind of moseying with this storyline when I thought there were 10 episodes. You know, and now I'm like, oh, we're really moseying with this storyline if there are only 8.
Yeah, maybe.
But the other thing is, like, is the alternative just not seeing Daemon and not dealing with Daemon at all. Because if that's the alternative, I think I would prefer to see these visions, and I would prefer to see Harrenhal. And, we are getting important updates with the situation in the Riverlands and how it's developing. So it's like, it's a mixed bag. I'm like, overall, I enjoy it. I do just think that there's a little bit of a repetitive nature to it that I'm starting to kind of tire of. But thankfully, with 2 episodes left, it probably won't be going on much longer.
Yeah, well, it has to go somewhere, or it will end and then be answered next season. But I don't feel like they'll do that.
I feel like this is a pretty central thread to this season.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be something that spans a long time.
I'd hope so. Yeah, at least.
In fact, it's one of the only storylines I feel like can be wrapped up this season. You know what I'm saying? Like, most other stuff is
pretty big,
pretty spanning. Like, we're not going to solve the fucking war in the next 2 episodes.
Nope.
Which is basically every other fucking problem in the show besides what's happening at Harrenhal. So, I anticipate that this will get a solution. But, maybe not. We'll see. But that concludes the story at Harrenhal, and we'll head to King's Landing next, where we begin with, we're heading to the Green storyline, I should say, because we're actually going to start in the Riverlands in my King's Landing section. Because the Lannister forces arrive at a house where they'll be ready to head to Harrenhal. Whenever the Lannister forces are ready, let's go, let's mount up, let's ride out. And Lord Lannister is like, oh no, that's okay. Yeah, I know we outnumber you, like, intensely. Like, you do not have the provisions to feed my army and house us for very long, but you're gonna find them. Because we're gonna stick around until Aemond meets us with Vhagar. And then we'll head on down to Harrenhal. Cool?
Yeah. Was it normal for Lannisters to carry around lions with them wherever they went? Like, this is why their house sigil is the lion. Like, this, when did this stop?
I struggle to see ability. Is it just an intimidation factor? Like, we have a lion, it's in a cage.
That's fair. I mean, they did bring it to the very front, and maybe it's just another deeper layer into, like, you will feed us. Like, how much war just fucking destroys the food and just, like, small folk. Like, it just, I think that's.
Yeah, no, one of the thoughts that I had whenever the Lord, like, looks at the lion and looks at his, like, he's like, how the hell do we feed a lion?
What do we, yeah, like,
we have
never taken care of a lion before. What the fuck do we do? What, yeah, so.
I like to think about the Lannisters carrying around a lion as an attempt to emulate the Targaryens with their dragons. Like, trying to act like they have some sort of connection to the animal when they obviously don't. Or the Starks with dire wolves or anything. Like, the Lannisters are the oddball out there. Like, they do not have a connection to their animal that is their house sigil. Like, they're just like, lions are cool. That's what we'll do. So, I don't know. I think that's perhaps a little bit of a thing they're doing there too. But, back at the capital, Aemond loses his shit over being summoned like a dog. He is ruling. This is unacceptable, and his mother tries to speak up, but he cuts her off. He has a task for Tyland. He asks that he make an alliance with the Triarchy. The council possesses concerns. No, they're not to be trusted. But Aemond's like, it's necessary. It's a means to an end. They can weaken the blockade while our real allies go ahead and do what they need to. And Alicent's like, yeah, that's a shit idea. How about our letters to the Greyjoys? First mention of the Greyjoys, I believe.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh yeah, the Greyjoys. And it's become clear that they've abstained from the conflict, waiting for their best option. They're like, we'll see,
We'll wait it out.
Whoever's gonna win, we'll declare for. That's classic Greyjoy shit.
The Red Kraken, is that what they're always called, or is that like the current king?
That is the current lord of the Greyjoys, which
it's cool,
yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm assuming that because their sigil has always been the Kraken, but they changed the colors based on like who they're fighting for and stuff. I'm pretty sure it was like just kind of gray, navy, and all that when it was just Theon, Yara, and then pretty sure Euron had like a gold Kraken on a black background. So like. maybe
Good old pirates,
right now,
Blackbeard, Redbeard, Bluebeard.
yeah,
It's just kind of
exactly.
Kind
So
of the
like,
shit.
I anticipate that the Red Kraken, however, is the Lord of the Greyjoys currently, whoever that might be. I'm hoping we get to meet him because ultimately, like, I hate the Greyjoys, but I think they're a cool fucking house. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a gnarly
Is
house.
that a naval battle that's possible? Like, no, because I mean, they're on the opposite sides of like the continent, the Iron Islands and King's
Oh,
Landing.
yeah.
Wait, well, where's like Driftmark in their?
Driftmark's in Dragonstone, like right over there, on the other side of the continent.
So, not a naval battle, I guess, taken to the Iron Islands or anything. Yeah, there's nothing that could happen there. But yeah, I was wondering if we just get there's a Harrenhal battle and there's also a naval battle.
The Iron Islands, for having the strongest navy, are really, really...
They're just up there. It's like they're
inconveniently located for everybody. Huh?
They never have to fight anybody. Maybe that's why
That's probably why they have a really strong navy. They can just keep building and building and building and never be in the line of fire.
Yeah, it's just they have to defend against Essos if the planet works like that, and we don't even know if the planet wraps around.
We don't technically know what's west of Westeros currently.
So yeah,
damn. So if they want the Greyjoys, they have to fucking
go
all the way down past
way
Dorne,
around.
and that's months. Like, that is a months long.
I mean, is there like a river that goes? It doesn't look like it. There's not like a
even
Panama
so,
Canal or anything. You know, like the equivalent doesn't look like it. Yeah, that kind of blows.
But Ironrod proposes a potential way to anchor the Greyjoy alliance. He's like, what if we married the Queen Dowager off to them? And Alicent's like, how about you go fuck yourself, guy?
Yep. Did not like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kristen backs up the voice, of the council, like, Aemon, I don't think that's wise, I think we need to figure something out. And Aemon's like, nah, you're going to Harrenhal, don't you think it's about time for that? And, he's like, I'll fly out. I'll meet your forces when the time is right. My uncle is a challenge that I welcome, if he'd face me. I still have severe... Aemond is way too cocky in this fight.
He's all talk. All talk. He has no experience. Every kill that he has been like a...
sneak attack.
Yeah, it's never been like just a straight-on battle.
Bro camped with Vhagar.
He's a camper. Fuck, dude. How did I not put that together? Yeah, he
camped around the corner and got Meleys when she flew right by.
This dude sucks. He's, at least the one thing I'll give him is he's being more kingly, but he's a shit. It's like he's a bad. He's like
he's just. I mean, like, Alicent voices her concerns here in a second. Like, you have the, I can't remember the
gusto,
of youth.
something like that.
I can't remember the specific word she uses, but like, she's like, you're insufferable. You're a child. You're petulant. You are making the wrong choices too quickly. Which is correct. He's too assured of his notion of what is the right thing to do, and he's not adhering to anybody's counsel. In fact, he ignores everybody at the table, and just sends them off to do his bidding. So, yeah, not a great look for Aemond, but the council is dismissed, but Aemond calls for Alicent to stay, and he commends her for her storied service, but relieves her of her duties. And Alicent seems to briefly crack his facade when she touches his face and strokes his cheek, and is like, can't remember specifically what she says, but something about like, you poor boy, or something like that. Like, it's something, but it goes right back up, and she sees her way out. There's a softness to his performance very briefly whenever she does that he like, she
what
did
he's always wanted. He's never got it. He's never got affection from his mother. And I didn't put the two together, but like the girl that
Sylvie,
she like mimics Alicent quite a lot. I don't know how I didn't put those two together before. And my thought was, did he get up because like he got a boner and he had to leave? Like, he was getting too like aroused, and dude was just like, I have to go, because like,
I don't know if it's quite so Oedipal, but
he's like that's where he gets didn't put that together. That like the dude, I don't know, but that the dude's just fucked in the head, kind of. He's just been fucked for a while, and he's been trying to just Oh, it was about has your childhood bully, like, have you not fulfilled?
Has your childhood not been avenged? Essentially, have you not done enough to make up for it?
Dude, yeah, I mean, and Allison just finally realizing that, like, it's law. Like, I mean, it's things are going bad.
Don't you think you would like to? I thought you would be content pursuing more domestic ventures.
Dude.
I was like, kill this guy with a gun.
Yeah.
Shoot him.
Like, at first I'm like, man, he looks so fantasy-like. He just has the, like, kind of Lord of the Rings look, even though I haven't even watched. Like, he just looks like he'd fit perfectly there. So I'm like,
he looks like his ears are supposed to come up to a
yes,
point.
And no, like, he would be a perfect elf. But so I'm like, it'd be cool to see him as king. He just fits the kind of fantasy bill, but like, no, he needs to be off the council as soon as possible.
It's bad. It's bad out here. But in the streets, at the tavern, as we've previously seen, rumors swirl. The castle is a feast every night, while they eat nothing. It isn't fair. They deserve better, and it is Madame Sylvie and Diana who are purposefully stirring the pot here. You know, they're speaking just loud enough for people to overhear. I love this choice, and it's the would-be Targaryen bastard who's sitting nearby, who's like, that's not fucking fair. And they're like, oh, sorry, sir. Is there anything we can get you? I loved this whole thing. It was a great way to. I love the Smallfolk stuff. I love the Smallfolk stuff. And
is the idea that this is happening kind of everywhere at every bar or whatever, that it's being spread, or did Rhaenyra read all the lineage stuff? She found this guy and then sent, like, or Massaria says, talk to this guy specifically, get him going, you know?
I don't think this guy specifically is
being sought out.
The goal. Yeah, I don't think he's specifically the goal. I think this is one of the examples of, like, perfect happenstance. There's another later on that we kind of speculated about, but I've landed on that being much more purposeful. This, I think, because he's clearly not kept this on the down low. He just told random people the first time we met him.
Massaria would be the one to know.
Massaria would know.
Like. But Rhaenyra would have to be like, all right, we need this person, and then Massaria's like, oh yeah, I know that dude. And, like,
I know a Targaryen bastard. You know, like So like that's why I'm like, I don't think he's specifically being sought. I think that this just happens to be a popular tavern. You know, we saw it popping off a couple episodes ago when supplies weren't so thin. I like the way that they're showing that as supplies grow thin, there's nobody here, nobody's having a good time.
Yeah.
It was a good choice. But later on in the streets, tensions continue to rise as a vendor runs out of food and several sheep are carted past for the dragons. The people voice their concern again, you know, you have food enough for the dragons, but not for us. And these concerns find their way all the way to the Prince Regent. He is informed that the people are not happy and that they blame him. It is his responsibility to take care. It is the burden of authority, but he shouldn't have to shoulder it alone, Larys says. He should have a hand. Criston served his brother well, but he must choose someone better. Naaman's like, do you think I'm a fucking idiot? Do you think I'm fucking stupid?
Did not go well this go around. Larys.
This was the least subtle Larys has ever been.
Yeah,
this was one of those.
Dude, like, not the way to. I don't know. He did not play this one well at all. Maybe he just knew he had to take a shot. No one else is here. Like, who else is he gonna pick? And then he kind of out of left field for it to be like, bring Otto back. I kind of didn't really expect that. But okay. Like, and
you'd think Aemond would bring in somebody who is going to fuel his worst instincts, not quell them. That's
why I don't know. That is an interesting pick, and Otto being strangely silent, looking at the map. And that's just been on my other monitor the whole time. Old Town is on that side of the continent. Maybe that's what good old Otto's been cooking. He's been going up to the Greyjoys, getting, I don't know, trying to get support, trying to cook. I don't know,
still fighting for their cause, even though he's not directly involved.
Maybe.
There is another mention later on that the High Towers have inspired a lot of retribution in Kristen's war campaign. The Maester tells Alicent that whenever she's like, "Have we heard from my father?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "No. However, I think the House Beesbury has, we're not fighting a war just in the Crown lands. Like, your house is dealing with a lot of stuff because people blame you."
Oh. Okay. So maybe Otto's just doing a lot of
he might be doing some war
control.
Yeah,
and,
like he's
okay.
he's busy, I think is kind of what they're implying. Frankly, I think we could cut the amount of time we've spent with Daemon in half, and you could show me Rhys Ifans getting up to shit as Otto Hightower, and I'd be very content.
But I'd rather check in with Otto. Man, yeah, that's damn.
But regardless, it's fine. It is what it is. It's probably not that important. But like one scene here or there, we've never even seen Old Town save for the Citadel in Game of Thrones. I
know we need to.
I want Old Town stuff, man.
We need to see Castle
Maybe
Rock.
The only reason they're not going there is so that because they haven't casted Daeron Targaryen.
Okay. They need. Need the guy.
Once we have Daeron Targaryen, we'll go to Old Town. Is kind of how I anticipate it'll go. But regardless, Aemon calls Larys a bitch and makes him think he is offering him the spot, but really is asking Larys to send for Otto. He has always done well in protecting his family. It's then that the Grand Maester comes in to inform the council of the king's improving condition. His breath comes easier, He may yet make a recovery. It will not be fast or soon, but there's steps taken. And Aemon's like, "Cool, I'm gonna go visit him."
Thanks for the info. Yeah. I really thought Aegon was dead this episode. I thought Aemon was just gonna go put the pillow over his head and see you later.
Aemon's like, "You say shit. And you will."
That's fair. I guess that is the threat. But
the threat being made, and Aegon clearly remembers everything. Aemond walks in and he inches over on the bed. He's like, like he's starting to crawl away a little bit, and it's like, oh, this poor fucking guy, man. Shit.
Yeah, I don't remember anything, man. I swear to God, I
don't know.
Yeah, poor man, getting crushed with the king ball too. Like the
sphere of duty.
yeah. What I don't know.
I love the spheres.
Mm-hmm. They're too satisfying. But now it's damn. Now Aegon will never look at it the same. He won't really twirl it at the table anymore. I feel like he's just gonna pick it up and put it in the thing as he's gonna touch it as Lisa's.
Well, and the way he peels it off of him. Oh God. Yeah, they're doing some nasty shit with Aegon's burns, man. It's bad. But the Grand Maester enters, and Aemon scatters, pretending nothing is amiss and wishing his brother well. But Alicent later sits by her son's bedside, and she'd gotten her hopes up about his improvement, and she sees the improvement is extremely slight, not nearly as much as she had hoped for, and she asks the Maester of the messages to her father, but he has not heard back. The Hightowers have inspired much retribution in their war efforts. It is reasonable to assume Otto is busy, and she takes her son's hand and apologizes. It's a rough one. Alicent's good, man. I like Alicent.
Is she gonna kill Aemond? At first I wasn't somehow in the boat that she was gonna kill Aegon. I don't know how the fuck I arrived there. I think it was mainly the Helena. I forgive you. I was thinking what would Helena have to forgive Alicent for? And it's maybe the death of her husband, or brother, whatever. But yeah, no, that's just not gonna happen. But I feel the death of Aemond much more likely, just because she sees how she ruled before with Viserys in Aegon right now, and if she removes Aemond, she is the ruler. She is the person who's on the throne, basically, for a little bit until Aegon recovers, if that ever happens, So I feel like that's the whole point of the Green storyline, is that their whole thing just, it's internal. It's, they can never get along. Like, even though they are fighting Team Black, they will always be fighting internally. And I just don't...
Until that's solved, and likely in a terrible fashion, it will continue. I could see that, I think that I'm hoping, like, I don't think it's going to happen. She doesn't have it in her to kill one of her children, I don't put it past her to defect.
Like
to go to Team Black.
Oh. Okay. Just to...
Like, I forgive you, like, I can't blame you. Kind of. Like, I'd get the fuck out of here, too.
Shit.
Perhaps abandoning all of her kids, abandoning her family, and going...
Oh, dude, maybe she has that thought. She's like, like, she had the thought of killing Aemond, and then the mere thought of that is like, what am I? That's my kid.
I gotta go.
Like, that's my kid.
Like,
I'm thinking of killing my kid. Yeah, and like...
Now, if she's thinking of killing her kid, I don't think she'd go fight in the war effort for the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the other thing. Yeah, like...
The ultimate goal, so...
So, I struggle to nail down precisely how I feel about where Alicent is heading. I don't know if she's just going to double down, tough it out. That feels more her style. It feels more in character for her to be like, this is what I've done. This is what we're doing. Like, she's been sidelined, though. Aemond has officially cast her aside. With Otto coming back, though, how much does he have an influence in bringing Alicent back into the fold? He clearly trusts her a great deal and knows that she is the other person who will be responsible in restoring peace.
I guess, also the interaction with her brother a little later, I guess, but
that's good.
Maybe she just goes to Old Town. Like, Otto comes back and she's like, I can spend a time with my good kid.
I can go, I can go spend time with my son. Yeah, that's actually probably the most likely, that she just goes back to Old Town.
Gets out, like, is just like the Red Keep. It's
evil
in the nature. Yeah, like, growing a kid up in the Red Keep is the worst place to grow a kid up. It's just
has been obvious for a long time.
Yeah, it is known. It has been known.
It is known. But yeah, she heads out to say her goodbye to her brother, heading off to Harrenhal with Kristen, and they discuss their father, whom has always favored Alicent, and she wonders what might have been if he had been brought to court instead of her. But he's like, I was the oldest son. My place was Old Town. Like, that's where I belonged. And she inquires about the well-being of her son, Darren. And Gwaine is pleased to report just how good of a kid Darren is. He's handsome. He's smart. He's as adept with a lute as he is with a sword. Bro's a musician, apparently. Which
Renaissance
is hard.
man. He gets all the ladies.
Bro's Rhaegar.
Yeah, that's
Bro's Rhaegar.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, we need to meet this man. I want
Darren. Give me Darren. That's one of the good guys. I like him. But and he reports he is kind. And I loved Olivia Cook's performance here. Like, kind of just being, and the way she connects it to Gwaine being like, but 8 years old and no mother. It must have been awful. It must have been terrible. And he's like, we made do. He's like, and she's like, how's my son? How's the kid I sent off to live somewhere else and have not seen his entire... What's my son like, I think is what she says. I don't think she even asks how he is. She inquires what his personality is. And that sucks. And she's pleased to hear that he's kind, a quality she feels is sorely lacking in her other sons. And Gwaine says that perhaps sending him off to ward at Old Town was the right choice. The Red Keep does not seem the right place to breed the finest of men.
No.
And Alicent questions if it was her ability as a mother, and Gwaine's like, no, you did your best. There's only so much you can do in the Red Keep. Just the way of things.
Sad.
But
yeah, I want to meet Darren, though. It's going to be like a full-on blonde Targaryen. Is that like the play here? Or okay, I just didn't know if I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that all of her kids are stereotypical Targaryen looking, kind of to contrast the look of Rhaenyra's kids. Is kind of how I've taken it.
Yeah, that'll. I wanna go to Old Town. I wanna see that tower lit up green. I wanna see whatever's going on.
Yeah, the high
there.
towers are off at war. You know, like that. They would be lit up green.
It'd be sick. I want to see that. I want to see Hightower or Old Town, and I want to see Casterly Rock. It's the Lannisters at least say that it's higher than the Wall or some shit, and I just want to see it as some like
what. What do you think came first? Their house name or the really tall tower they built? Do you think because their name was Hightower, they were like, we've got one choice, you know, like we've got to build a really high tower,
must.
You know, or did they like, or did they
egg.
have a different name and then they built a really high tower and they were like, we should name ourselves after this fucking thing, you know, like
our name sucks. No one like it sucks. The high to like I don't know. That's a good chicken or the egg question. I feel like the name came first, and they're like, yeah, we just got to build high towers. And wherever we decide we are,
let's just build some
we
fucking
build
high towers.
the high tower, yeah, and fucking light it green whenever we go to war. But
after they head off, Alicent visits her daughter, who is sad that one of her birds has stopped singing. How curious! It stopped singing, and she invites Helena to the Sept to light a candle for their lost and her brother.
One of our birds stopped singing. It's like two birds in a cage. They're trapped, and then one of them like is still alive, but basically not. Is it like an Aegon Aemond reflection? But then why?
Could be.
Helena. It seems like it'd be like her children, but then her one already got killed. I guess one did stop singing for good, but it's not like still flying around. You know, it's like. I wonder if
maybe it's a dragon foreshadow. Maybe there's something there.
Birds and that's a little easier to go on. Could be nothing. Could just be.
I feel like they're doing a lot with her lines to make you go like, what does it mean? I genuinely didn't read this one to actually have a deeper meaning.
Oh, I didn't until just now. Until I just heard. Stop singing.
Right.
So, but
I take it to be. It's continuing that connection she has to animals, like the fascination she had with bugs when she was littler, and she's always taking care of something, and so I think it's just like she's fucking weird, man. She's got birds in her bedroom, you know, like that's
why were they like
that's odd behavior.
Weren't they like some itty bitty ass?
They were tiny birds. They were tiny birds.
What the fuck was that? Like the cage was literally like a thimble or like I don't know, but.
Small cage. But
sadly had to go light a candle here. Yeah,
they went to the Sept.
Yeah,
they went to the Sept, and as they are praying, riots begin in the streets. The food that we will get to before long in the Dragonstone storyline has been discovered. Smallfolk are attacking one another, trying to get their hands on the food, and before long, they rise against the City Watch and the Kingsguard. The sheer numbers overwhelm them as Alicent is grabbed on the arm, but is stopped when a sword takes off the man's hand. And she asks that they put their swords away. You know, stop that. You know, like it will only make things worse if you start killing them.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, shit. Well, that sucks. Sorry for those listening. My video just cut out. Don't really know why. It says that it's still connected. So, but, yep. Okay. Sorry. We're just gonna have to tough it up. Yeah, she's like, this will only make shit worse. You know, nothing good can come of this. We must, you know, make it out. And they listen, and they make it to make it to the wagon, and they see their way out of the mess as hundreds battle in the streets. A lot of Kingsguard get overtaken, toppled, and presumably killed.
Is fish thrown at Alicent straight up. Yeah, like Queen of Fishes or something. Was that like she straight up was called the Queen of Fishes and like long live Queen Rhaenyra? Helena the only time she's left the Red Keep was during the funeral, and they all praised her, and they're like, "Oh my God, the Queen! We're seeing the Queen. We love you. We feel for you." And then now it's like, "We hate you. We want the other queens. So yes, die. Like we want you to." Yeah. So it's very
Alicent
rough.
getting the same cut on her arm that she dealt to Rhaenyra.
Come on. Come on.
And
man.
I don't want to read too heavily into it, but Alicent getting that sort of reflection from Rhaenyra in the same episode.
Aegon is like literally like Aemon now, kind of like he's lost an eye. Alicent got the same cut. It's like I don't know. It feels like they're kind of bringing these things back, and maybe they're it's just history repeating itself, and like their karma. I don't. It's just like they're on the wrong side. I don't know. It's just, but it was a. There were tiny moments in the episode that were just like internal, like fuck yes, or just kind of like and that was one of them. Just seeing that cut, and I don't know what it means, but it got me to rile up.
Got me going. It got me going. Yeah, no, it was exciting. But yeah, again, Olivia Cook was so good. I loved Alicent protecting Helena to the best of her ability in the streets. I was really worried whenever they got cornered. I was like,
it did not look good. Yeah.
I didn't know where we were going, and obviously in Thrones, I get really concerned when women are defenseless against angry men.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thankful that they made it out, but I was worried about where we were going there.
Because Alicent kind of pushes Helena forward, and I thought it was going to be like Helena made it out, but then Alicent got stuck in the crowd behind, and then, yeah, it wasn't looking good, but very... At least they both just got... We didn't have to deal with that. They're in the wagon. They got the idea of what would have happened, I guess. So
they did indeed. But later on, Larys spares Aegon the delight of milk of the poppy. He tells the king it will keep his mind clear, and he imparts his wisdom on the boy. He too has experienced the glares of the able-bodied, their doubt, their laughs. But it will be Aegon's strength. They will underestimate them, and they will use it against them. Larys tells Aegon to lock the fuck in. He tells him that his life is in danger while his brother rules, of which he is sure Aegon knows. And Aegon begs, "Help me." And Larys simply smiles. This was a really, really, really good scene. This was strong.
I mean, a crazy performance possibility out of Larys. I guess I don't know the actor. His name. Let's see. Let me pull it up here. Where are you? Where are you, good old weird Loris, you weird motherfucker? Are you not on the main cast? Really? Oh, there you are. Matthew Needham. Man, yeah, just kind of came out of nowhere here and just delivered this. I'm curious if it's still a lie or if this is his true childhood trauma that he's delivering here, because we kind of get a mirror of childhood trauma being dropped with another scene. But
right.
It feels genuine, but again, that's his whole thing. It's secrets are his trade, and like I just want to see that club or that his metal whatever the fuck off to see if it is twisted or not. Just to get that confirmation.
I think he's being 100% real. I've never really had issue with the idea that I at one point I did agree that perhaps it was a facade, sort of in the way Pycelle carried himself in a way that was unbecoming of him, but this was like wildly vulnerable, and I don't know if he's lying. We already know he's a sociopath, but if he's lying, it's really, really impressive. And to what end? Aegon's like barely in it, he's in excruciating pain. That's why I'm like, I think he's being as genuine as we've ever seen Larys be, It
does feel like it. And I mean, the tears are very real. The performance is there. Like, I almost even want to give him the performance. I'll wait to see if someone else deserves it, because there's a scene that just is absolutely the favorite, and I can't pick any other scene. But he's at least trying to feel like Aegon, or say like we're exactly alike. Like, you now only have your brain left. This is all you have. It's all I have. It's, I can't run. You can't run anymore. We have to keep our brains sharp. And it's this weird, like, I don't know. Like there's obviously the other half of the childhood drama dump ends in good what we wanted. Here, like it feels like there was a kiss. Like if Aegon was healthy, like I don't know. Like it feels like they embrace as well, and like it did kind of feel like a similar moment. And so that leads me to believe that Larys is telling the truth, and that it was genuine. But there's always just that chance. I don't know. He is fucking crazy. So I want
that's
to
fair.
leave it in the back pocket. But this, at least,
I did
hand.
take him at face value.
Did Aegon already choose Larys as his hand? Or no, he chose Kristen. So he was just, that's right. Larys was just like, you need to choose one, and then led him down to choosing Kristen. But so I guess I was, I see him lying just to say how similar they are, and to
I
to
do
compare
think
them,
he has ulterior motive. I think it's of note that he hasn't visited Aegon until the Maester goes, it's looking like the king will get better. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks like,
I see.
Looks like he'll pull through. You know, like kind of like he's like, oh, well then it's worth my time to go relate to this kid. I think he is using his real existence as a way to connect with him, you know, is kind of how I read it.
Because how does he help Aegon? Is it by killing Aemond? Is it by what, like, Larys is whenever he is approved for help, the dude goes to the fullest extreme.
Yeah,
you know, he fucking burnt down Harrenhal and killed his family. So like, what does he do here? What?
I don't know.
I feel like killing the current crown. Well, is he the current? I mean, because
he's the regent. Yeah, he's ruling.
Now that Aegon is conscious, is because Aemond gives him the ball back. You know, he realizes, right, that like that now that Aegon is conscious, that or is it like still in the recovery period? Aemond is still ruling. Like it's.
I would assume in the recovery period until Aegon is able to move to the chamber and do things. I imagine he will be ruling in a very limited capacity. He's certainly not in the mind to lead a war effort, you know, like it'll be Aemond until Aegon can do anything.
Or until he's dead. I mean, that's but we got to get that conflict on Harrenhal. He's got to make it. He's got to make it there. You know, I don't know. I feel like there's no way he dies, like, in the Red Keep.
No, and that's
episode.
what sucks, is that Aemond is... Aemon's the character that it would be really, really nice for him to die. Which means he won't be dying for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is just what that means in Game of Thrones.
Who's the least... Who would we least want to die? I mean, I guess, like, Rhaenyra.
But yeah.
No.
I mean, after this episode, Mysaria.
No. Okay, well, I'll keep the thought on Aemond dying. I'll keep my thoughts on that until, because Rhaenys just blindsided me. I'd rather be blindsided than to, I don't know, to
like think of
it's coming first. I don't know. But oof.
Man.
Good old Larys just trying to climb his ladder, I guess is all he's doing at the end of this. But
yeah, and that concludes the story in King's Land. But at Dragonstone, court commences with Corlys donning the hand's pin for the first time to Rhaenyra's delight. I also like that this is the first time Rhaenyra's seen him with it. She's just like, "You accepted the offer, cool." You know, no better way to notify her of that other than showing up to a council meeting, I suppose. Sir Darklyn is brought before her and the council, a man of noble birth with Targaryen blood long ago from his grandmother's grandmother, Arianna. This is the thing the book readers are mad about today. Who the fuck is Ariana? It doesn't matter. It's Sir Darklin's grandmother's grandmother.
Yeah, that's the.
They actually answered that. Fuck you.
Isn't that the whole point of it? Is like that they are kind of nobody, or like that's like the. At least that's how I'm reading the dragon, just being like no, just kind of like this is. You scoff at me, but like, they're supposed to. This Ariana is supposed. Oh, I guess Rhaenyra is. I guess saying that this Ariana was the noble birth that
was
he
a
has
Targaryen princess.
Okay, I see. Okay,
but even so, it's like I don't care. Who fucking cares? I don't know, but Rhaenyra proposes that he become a dragon rider. And this receives protest, including from Darklyn himself. He's like, is there nobody else? How about Rhaena? And Corlys is like, well, Rhaena's tried, but the dragons here wouldn't take her as a rider. And he's like, okay, all right. And, it's Lord Bartimos at the table who's like, this is dangerous. We probably shouldn't do that. And Rhaenyra assures Darklyn, I'm not making you, I know this is a big commitment. If you would like to do it, you can. And of course, he's like, well, yeah, I would love to be a dragon rider. And if you think it's possible, I'm going to fucking do it. He thinks, he views it as an honor that is far beyond him, and it is his duty to try is kind of how he looks at it, which is, it was cool. I liked Darklyn this week. This was a cool perspective. It's sad he had to go so quickly. But later on, in the dragon driveway, the dragon keepers commence a hymn to lure Sea Smoke to her new would-be rider. Rhaenyra and Jace watch on as Darklyn approaches the beast, and it appears to go well. Darklyn even believes he has done it. He says as much. I've done it.
Instantly.
And
Right
Sea
when
Smoke's
he says. This is, I feel like he was, I don't know exactly how to read it. I guess how I read it is he was like walking up to the dragon, like it's still godly. It's still like, holy shit, I'm doing, like, I shouldn't be able to do this. And like, that's the mindset. But then right when it switches to like, I am controlling the dragon, like I have done it already, then Sea Smoke is just like, oh, no, you're fucking done.
No,
like,
fuck you.
It felt like Sea Smoke would have let Darklyn get on him if he kept like this the whole time. It felt like it wasn't just to get him in closer so that he could kill him.
I mean, he could have killed him at the distance he was at already.
Yeah, so there is something.
There's a humbleness about it,
I feel like that's what it is. It's just you have to remain humble. You have to like recognize that that
this power is greater than you are.
Because it's the second it's like, I have done this, Sea Smoke is like, no, you are not worthy anymore. Like it's like a worthy test almost is like how I read it, and it felt just like, why else would Sea Smoke burn him right when he says, I have done it? Why is that the switch? Feels just like that's the moment, I guess, that he no longer saw the relationship. I don't know. There's obviously some weird mystical, like the dragons only want to accept Targaryen people, it seems like, for whatever reason. We haven't seen just an attempted of like just a random, Smallfolk, but like, I don't know. I feel like they are trying to establish how dragons kind of work in the show, like, and they're giving explanations to like why or how bonds form, and all this stuff. And the dragons have an intelligence to them that is like clear now. Before, like it was hinted at, like in Thrones, it was like it's clear that they were smart, but like they have like ancient knowledge. Like they are just, I don't know. Maybe they have future vision capabilities and they can just see how it goes. They saw down the line that if they accepted this rider, just bad things were to come. But
okay, well, that sucks. Had it back for a while, but I move at all, and it goes away. So sorry about that. That'll go away before long. Don't worry. But yeah, no, I could see it being the sort of humbleness before the dragon, you know, like I've done it. I also took it to be testy already, like so it could be that he got close enough to where he was like, "Oh wait, you're not actually a Targaryen, you know, like we did the hymn, we did the ritual, we did all this, but you're not him, you know, like is sort of, I don't know.
I feel like that's just the fact that it's right after he says the line. Like that's it's I feel like if it was just the blood thing, that wasn't made apparent, I guess. Like that wasn't, I guess, the vibe that they're pushing off to me. It felt like it was just, it honestly feels like anyone could. Like they don't actually have to be of blood. Like I feel like it is just a no, because I mean he beamlines it for common blood.
Yeah.
Like that's what Sea Smoke does. So no, they kind of do need the blood, actually, maybe.
That's why I'm like, I do agree with the idea that there is a certain vibe switch. My issue, like, I guess it's not an issue. It's just that, like, when it comes to the dragons, the consistency in what they adhere to and what they listen to is very, very different. They speak Valyrian to them because they don't understand English. They only have a connection with the writer. If they have not connected as a writer, they don't really perceive the way they are thinking. So I'm like, that's where I struggle with the idea that maybe it was genuinely because the guy was like, I've done it. And he's like, oh, never mind, fuck you. You know, like, that's the only place that I have a little trouble with. But even that is like, it's still fantasy. So it's like, yeah, probably. You know, that's why I'm like, I tend to agree with that take. I don't think it's a guarantee by any stretch. I think that the situation was already pretty hit or miss, and they felt like they had a hit, and it turned sour real quick. You know, like they were already nervous about it.
Maybe I'm playing up the TV semantics as like the literal dragon lore. You know, like maybe they just wanted it to look like he was about to make it happen, and then just Sea Smoke at the last second burns him. You know, it could just be for the dramatic effect, but at least, why would Sea Smoke and these other dragons just wait in this pit? Are like maybe like do they want a rider? Like, do they just feel lost without a rider? You know, or like is it they're getting fed, so they're like might as well stay here, like or. I guess it is weird how they're unclaimed dragons, but I guess Daemon lured them there, put a collar on them. They are just kind of trapped creatures at this point, maybe, and not like they're under their own accord. But
I don't think that's the case. I think that they are able to go.
Yeah,
I think they're free to go because they even say at the end of the episode, Sea Smoke has been spotted, and Rhaenyra's like, yeah, okay. You know, like
they can do that. That's true. Okay.
So like I think that there is a freeness to it, but yeah, I guess this is just kind of like that they'd want to hang out with other dragons, and if this is home base, you know? Like maybe that's the case, but I don't know. Regardless, it appears to go well, and then Sea Smoke rears back and burns a keeper and Darkland alike. The keeper slits his own throat to prevent from suffering, and Darkland rides on the floor, a burning heap. Rhaenyra is shocked and ushered away by her son. Yeah, that was a rough one. That was a tough sell.
Eesh. Yeah, and then this whoever the fuck this lord is, or this fucking old guy.
Lord fucking Bartimos.
Whew. Oh
but
man.
We're gonna go to Driftmark before we go there.
Oh.
Driftmark Corlys visits his bastard son Alan and offers him command. He initially refuses. Others are far more experienced and more fitting, and Corlys says that he was younger when he took his first command. But Alan has distinguished himself and is respected by his peers. He is a fit choice. He expects him to report for duty on the morrow. And Adam watches on as Corliss even looks over at him and walks away, which was a notable little part of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought on rewatch, I didn't catch it the first time, but the second time I was like, oh, he definitely
Mm.
looks directly at Adam and walks away. Um,
Damn it. Damn it. Not a good sign. This is not good.
mm-mm,
I do not want it to go this way, but
no.
no.
No. But yeah, we'll get back to that in a second. Now, retreating from the ugliness, Rhaenyra is accompanied by one of her advisors who basically goes, I told you so. That plan was dumb, and my plan was good. Obviously, it wasn't as showy as yours, but, it is what it is. And she smacks the shit out of him and tells him, my favorite line of the episode, it is my fault, I think, you have forgotten to fear me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. And then goes to pick
well
up a
earned.
fucking sword later.
Well
Like
earned.
she
Yeah.
this fine. I don't know. And I wanted, Jace walks around with a sword. All it is. It kind of hit me this episode that like it is common for royalty to just walk around with a sword. It's just you want to be seen and feared, and Rhaenyra just has never had a sword on her hilt ever.
Mm.
And yeah, maybe is it? I mean, also she's a woman in their eyes, just seen as is obviously the gentler sex as they see it. It could just be that. But like, if she carried around a sword on her hip at all times, do you think they like don't speak up as much as they do? Like, is
It's possible. It's possible. I think she's looking for anything to. No, I
just the
don't.
woman
I think
is
she's a woman.
enough? It's enough.
Yeah, like it's,
That's fair. It's
I don't think her having a sword would change much for them. I think her doing more stuff like this will though. She's been really nice. She's been tempered and well kempt, and all of a sudden if she starts doing this sort of thing, which she should,
mm-hmm.
um hopefully it gets them to fucking fall in line. But I do think that they are heading towards a route where maybe she'll start, maybe even training in some capacity. I don't know if
Mm.
they're going with a it's too late thing and she's just going to start wielding one symbolically, but I would love if they actually went for it. Um, Either way, she goes to her study where she picks up and wields a sword, picking one from a plethora. And Massaria enters to first talk of the unfortunate dragon situation, and then talk about the rumors being kicked around the city. They're taking root in the people believe. Rhaenyra doubts how severe an impact this will have, but Massaria assures her it is far harder to fight a war when you cannot control your home base. And she tells her to proceed with the plan then. And on her way out, Massaria tells her that the sword suits her,
Mm-hmm.
and she sets it down and exits.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's kind of hot. The
Yeah, I'm
sword
kind
on
of
you.
into that.
It's like that's a good look on you. You should keep it on more often. Yeah, but
Uh,
there's these very nice little subtle just hints before we get the bomb at the end. Were very nice, and yeah, I was just waiting for the moment. But no, this I don't know. I hope Rhaenyra. I hope this conversation comes back up at least. I hope it like maybe Rhaenyra is like, no, I don't want to be seen with a sword. Actually,
mm.
like that, I don't like the idea. Or she does just start.
Doesn't want to project something that she's not going to abide by. Like, how much does symbolically wielding a sword mean if you can't use it? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
I think that's of note.
Maybe
But
she
yeah,
just
I'm with
steals the
you.
dagger back somehow. Fuck it, she
That'd be
finally
cool. That
finally
would be
gets it.
cool.
But that'd be tough. She
Hmm.
infiltrated the Red Keep once. I'd say it's going to be a little more difficult to do
A little
now. I don't know.
difficult the second time around. Now that the
But
gates are closed and all that good stuff, gonna be a bit of a
mhm.
task if they have that intention. But in the Vale, Rhaena does her best to impose wisdom unto the children, but they desire their mother. And they stumble
Mhm.
upon burned sheep, and it becomes clear that there is a dragon here. Land has been scorched along with several sheep alike. Um, I actually did end up looking into this to see what the wild dragon was, or like if it had a name or anything. and you'll be pleased to know that the name is
We
Sheep
know.
Stealer.
Huh?
Sheep Stealer.
Wh- Huh? Is it okay?
Yeah.
So on one hand, I'm like, okay, Reyna, this is your dragon. You're gonna claim this wild dragon. But now I don't know. Do I want her to claim sheep stealer?
Yeah.
Um,
So like, I mean, obviously the dragon's been dubbed that as far as like local legend, I would assume, as it steals sheep. Um,
yeah.
you know,
So could be a more ancient. Could have a real name. Just unknown
it could,
to
it
the
could.
people. But we haven't seen it yet. I get. It'll be interesting to. It feels like Reyna is gonna claim this one though, and
Yeah.
because at least it was mentioned earlier that like she's tried to, right? Or was
Hmm.
that
Yes, yeah. Corliss says that.
yeah,
Like we've tried. These dragons didn't take her.
yeah, and has that been, have we known that before, or was that like the first
They've
confirmation of that?
said something about how Reyna wasn't an option, but they didn't really go into why. So that was the
Mm-hmm.
first time we've known for sure why.
Okay. So yeah, it feels, it's only natural for her to get a dragon. It feels like, after claiming to be like, no, I'm fire and blood. She's
Hmm.
like, she's true Targaryen, and now like it's really cool seeing these little baby dragons just hanging out with the babies, and it makes like sense that
Yeah.
like eventually you just eventually will ride this dragon. That's how like the bonds are formed so much as you just grow up with the dragon. Um, but sheep stealer. Wow, that's a it changes the game maybe. I don't know. Could just be a
Yeah.
they don't know
Right.
the
Like, you
true
know what?
name,
Maybe
but
Reyna should claim a different dragon or name him something else.
yeah.
But regardless, later on, she sits with the children and their baby dragon. One of them is the dragon's name is Stormcloud, apparently, which is very cool.
Mhm.
And contemplates. Lady Jane enters and informs her that they've been permitted to leave for Pentos. And Reyna ignores her and confronts the lady for her lies. There is a large dragon in the Vale, and she confirms that there were rumors, sightings. It is large, formidable, but wild. And she tells them then that a ship will be taking them across the sea with 6 of her best men.
Mhm. Where
I
the
like the little check-ins here.
Yeah. Where is the Vale in the map? I guess it
Um,
I don't know if the geography truly matters in all of this, but like it
I think the Vale is north adjacent, but west. I'm going northwest, closer to the Iron Islands than King's Landing. Is kind of how I take it.
okay. Yeah, I guess would it actually be
Although
the
maybe it would
Vale
be
on the map, or do they actually, is there a
Aaron. Is Aaron on? Or no, wait, that's the house. The
like
Vale.
wouldn't be near Winterfell, like up that north, right? You think like are
No,
we going
I don't think it is. I don't think it is a northern kingdom. I think it is north comparatively to the rest of Westeros, except for the north, is how I take it. It might be just down the King's Road though, because like Tyrion and Catelyn stop there.
the Bloody Gate? There it is, the Erie. Okay, it
The
goes
Erie,
it
there it
goes
is.
east. Actually, you go up the King's Road, and then where you would head to the Twins, you actually go the other direction. You go east to the
Oh,
Bloody
okay,
Gate, and then
cool.
up there. So it's hmm up by, okay. I guess, yeah, Dragonstone. I guess there could be a connection there, a naval, but yeah, I don't know. No,
Gotcha,
the
gotcha.
but okay. Anyways, doesn't seem geography matters there, but um,
Yeah, they're heading for Pentos before long, but hopefully
hmm
Rhaena gets a chance to claim that dragon before they leave. But in Driftmark, Alan confronts his brother for not accepting their father's opportunity. Uh, or Adam confronts his brother for not accepting their father's opportunity.
hmm
Alan cuts his hair, hiding his platinum locks, um, which is cool. I
sick.
didn't,
This
yeah,
was
like
cool.
yeah,
Cool.
you continue this facade, and you see a really finely close
Whoa.
shave.
hmm
I liked that. And Alan asks if he never thinks about what could be his, the Driftwood throne, all the riches. And he belittles the opportunity while the sea snake ignores him entirely. And Alan stomps out, unhappy.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, I don't know how I read this wrong the first. I thought that um Alan was referring to Adam as the one who kept like ignoring him his whole life, but rewatching it's like he's clearly talking about Corliss, and there is some
I have
like
them flipped. The
Alan and
bald
Adam.
one is Alan.
Oh,
The
okay,
other
then
one is Adam.
then I
The
had him
one
flipped
who
as well
feels
then.
belittled is Adam. So like
Okay,
I took them wrong. I took them down backwards like throughout this whole
okay. So Sea Smoke claims Adam.
Adam.
Okay,
Yes.
so um yeah, it Adam is definitely like holding a lot of resentment
Mm.
towards Corliss and would be Team Black now that he is the Hand. So that is very scary. That is a scary thought. I
Yeah.
think I was so in the mind of like, oh my God, now that Alan's going off to war and he was so scared he just didn't want to because it's war and doesn't want to die. At least now his brother can protect him with a dragon, and imagine just a fleet with a dragon flying overhead. It's like what a beautiful world. And
Well,
then I'm
and
like,
I'm deeply curious. They're Adam and Alan of Hull. Is Hull a location? Is Hull a place?
Hull. I'm imagining it's just Hull. So at least didn't pop up on the map, but Game of Thrones. The good
Okay,
old.
Hull is a town on
Yeah.
the island of Driftmark.
Okay.
Um,
They're claiming that Corliss is like they are the bastard sons of
of
Corliss,
Corliss. Yeah.
and both or
Well, and
just.
that's what's unclear is that I think so because of the way Adam harbors a resentment against him. Like he never spares me a second glance or whatever. Like the other possibility that I had is that they're half brothers, that they have the same mom,
Mm-hmm.
but different fathers.
That could make sense. Because then why wouldn't Adam's hair be the
Platinum.
platinum as well?
But it could just be luck of the draw, genes wise. Like it could just be that he already doesn't look like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I have a tough time reading it.
Hmm. Man, yeah, because I guess I was really hoping that this is just like a claim for Team Black, and I was like, oh, Sea Smoke, he's making this big brain play. He's like, Rhaenyra's like, hey, we need another writer, and then this one comes out. Sea Smoke is like, nah, sorry about it. I don't really want this dude. I'm gonna go find my own, and I'll be back in a minute.
Fuck this white boy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so I thought it was just kind of like I'll be back in a minute, and then but then the end of the episode is more of like this is a confrontation now instead of
Yeah.
just arriving back with the writer. So I wanted Adam to join Team Black, and I thought that was just so clearly what's happening, but I don't know now.
It still could be, but it feels like he harbors that resentment against Corliss, who is the hand of the queen. Um, I don't see him as the type to prove himself by being like, check this out, sup pops, like look what I can do. Um, but I also don't take him to be the kind that would turn on his brother,
Mm,
like it's just we don't know that much about them right now. So it's like I suppose we'll see. Um,
hmm.
but
It's spicing up though. This
yeah.
it adds a very interesting conflict
Mm.
to just Corliss and Team Black. It's going to be hopefully at the beginning of next episode. I don't know. It's the thing that I'm most intrigued by that
Yeah,
I
I
need to
am
know.
too.
But
Yeah, no, I do think that Adam is also Corliss's son though, ultimately, because of the fact that the dragon went and claimed him. I take that to mean that he is his half brother is or is not was Laenor.
mm,
That's kind of how I perceive it. But back on Dragonstone, Rhaenyra watches over the water when Jace approaches. He says it was bold to do what she did, and he admired it. And he asks her about striking Lord Bartimos. What did he say to deserve that? Like what did he say that was so deserving? I believe is the way he puts it. Um, and she says that she is tired of being protected. She brings too much to mind of their mothers and daughters. She must be their ruler, sword and shield in hand, not jewels and gowns. And he says that his ruler is his mother, and he wouldn't wish it any other way. And they discuss their station in the war, and Jace portrays his doubt at their ability to defeat the Green's armies. He says they need Daemon and Caraxes. And Rhaenyra loses it. Daemon, can I please go an hour without hearing that fucking name? And
who does she see? Boom.
Immediately,
who enters?
Mysaria approaches,
Mhm.
and Jace is dismissed. She reports that their gift is sent. And Mysaria approaches her queen, and there is a very vague sense of what's happening here, as Rhaenyra even like sticks her hand out and like looks at it as she approaches, and then Mysaria walks up and she just like stares down at her hand for a second, but you can't see where her hand is. I took it to be a little bit of a handhold going on there.
Oh yeah. Either it was or just the thought was there, which that's enough. It's like they're both thinking about it, which is the seeds are being planted.
They've been planted extremely, and it kind of redefined the way I perceived the scene from a couple episodes ago, where Rhaenyra circles Mysaria and walks around her like staring deeply at her, and she's like, it isn't Daemon's way to do, and like Mysaria goes, you recognize me now, you remember. That's like Rhaenyra is peering into her fucking soul during that scene. So there's an intensity to their would-be romance that I am digging. But we then see their care package arrive in King's Landing by several boats full of food, representing the red on black Targaryen flag, which ruled. This was hard as fuck. I loved this.
Wow, a non-violent, amazing moment in Thrones. This is not a crazy big battle. This is not a Blackwater explosion. Like it was like the gift has been sent. It seemed kind of bad almost. It was like, oh shit, like what's about to go down in Blackwater. But then it's like
a true gift. A true gift.
God.
Yeah.
It just felt so good. And it caught me off guard. I did not expect this at all. Like this was a
great choice. This was a brilliant choice. Yeah.
Just felt good all around. And how crazy is it that like when it's just food, the concepts are clear. Like the food is being taken for the crown and being used for war and all these things, and it's very clear, when it's food.
Yeah.
Just replace it with moolah, the monies, and it's like it's the same shit. So I think it's also very, very easy, great concepts that they're, I don't know, just throwing in here. Perfect timing. I feel like it's pertinent. So it just a big W this episode. I don't know, very out of left field for Thrones. It feels like a feel good moment instead of a harsh battle that ended with thousands.
No,
of
this was dope. I didn't realize that this was they obviously didn't tell us this was the plan or anything. This was a pleasant surprise, but I really loved that choice, man. But later we see Alan walking the shoreline as sea smoke approaches and appears to attack. He follows Alan into the woods. Or Adam. Wow, I took him. It is Adam, right?
I thought Adam was the bald. I thought at least. Adam of Hull is Adam is Adam is Sea Smoke. Yeah, the one who rides Sea Smoke.
Why the fuck did I take them down backwards the whole time? Even now when I'm thinking about it, reading it, I'm like, this is wrong. It was not Alan who did it. So like,
I swear we woke up in a different world where there's no longer 10 episodes, there's 8, and then Adam and Alan have switched. It does like very weird.
No, that's what I don't know what happened, man, because I took the notes almost completely backwards. But there was at the beginning I said Corlys visits his bastard son Alan. Adam watches on. So like I just eventually switched it around. But later we see Adam walking the shoreline as Sea Smoke approaches and prepares to attack, and he follows Adam into the woods. When Adam feels like he's escaped, Sea Smoke does a nice little jump scare, sneaking up on him, and stands before him unyielding. Back on Dragonstone, Lady Mysaria approaches Rhaenyra with word of their successful operation. Her banners were carried into the city as far as the gates of the Red Keep. It sends the message that they wanted. Rhaenyra tells Mysaria that she doesn't think she can win this war. Her own people, including her son, doubt her without Daemon, and they agree that Daemon isn't someone to be relied upon. And Rhaenyra reminisces. He was everything she wanted to be, carefree and dangerous, a man. And she in turn was what he wanted to be, cherished by her father and made heir. They were halves of a whole, but he's never been at peace. He wished to possess her but not be possessed, and now that she is taking hold of everything he wanted, she fears what he may do, and that he might be an additional foe she didn't previously have. Mysaria tries to comfort her, saying, "It is more his way to disappear than fight." And Rhaenyra settles that either way, she's lost him and Caraxes, and her situation is dire. She asks Mysaria how, even if by some stretch of the imagination they do win, how she can rule when her own son doubts her. And Mysaria reassures her, "You have me."
Come on. Come on.
Oh.
I was almost gonna go with give Larys the performance, but it's too good. Like it's kind of like Tyrion's trial. Whenever he was on trial, and kind of like there was that kind of fourth wall breaky kind of like it felt like there was some realness coming out. Kind of feels like there's some realness coming out for Emma Darcy here, and it was just the whole scene. It was already felt great. I'm giving Emma Darcy the performance for the episode.
Yeah, they are so fucking
giving
good.
Mysaria the character. Sonia Mizuno. I don't know. Fucking, they're popping off. The ship name, whether it's Rosaria or Renaria, I think Renaria.
Renaria feels more right.
I hope it lasts though. I don't want.
I do too.
Yeah, it feels really good. But the mere fact of them being discovered is very scary. Right when they started to kiss, I'm like, no one walk in that door right now. I want this to last as long as possible. You know, like
right. Let them have their moment.
But
you know?
I knew someone was going to walk in the door because it's like if they're discovered at all, the men are going to be like, oh well, you
are completely unfit. You know, like
so it's a dangerous relationship that needs to be kept under wraps.
I love that though. I love forbidden fruit, man.
Okay,
that's my favorite kind of storyline. I went with Emma Darcy as Rhaenyra for my character. The whole time I felt that their performance, it was kind of another way to give them a performance nod, because it was the performance of Rhaenyra this episode that made me love Rhaenyra so much this week. The way Rhaenyra felt so beaten down, downtrodden, and the way she kind of reclaims agency in this episode, that she's felt like she's been losing the last couple episodes, smacking the shit out of Bartimos and making the move on Mysaria. Like these are big steps for her, as she has not been doing what she's wanted to for several episodes. So seeing her do things she wants to do was very nice. I liked seeing that a lot. But Mysaria, she says, reassures her, says she has her, and Rhaenyra smiles and thanks her. Mysaria then divulges the story of her scars. Her father sexually abused her and impregnated her, and now she can no longer have children as a result of seeing away with that entity. Rhaenyra says that she is sorry. Mysaria continues, she closed herself off. She chose not to trust anyone ever again, and this has done her well. The world is cold and cruel, and nobody is steadfast. However, Rhaenyra is steadfast, she believes. Rhaenyra has seen her as worthy, as an equal even, and for that she will serve her, and she believes she is meant to be queen. Rhaenyra does not respond, but instead approaches and embraces Mysaria. She hesitatingly returns the embrace, and it grows deeper. I love the settling into the hug, and then the hug started, and Emily goes, "Now kiss."
Yep.
And it was wonderful. And then the hug continued, and she was like, and then I was like, no, don't let go yet. Don't let go of that yet. It's happening.
The slow like seep
their
into
faces,
the neck.
Like their faces slowly move into the nape of each other's necks, and they pull back, and their lips meet, and they kiss passionately until they are impeded upon by news of a sea smoke sighting with a rider. And the way that whenever it's like with a rider, Rhaenyra and Mysaria like snap at each other, and Mysaria's like, the grains, and Rhaenyra's like, it has to be, I'm going, and I was like, God damn, I love y'all. Come on now.
It's
Come
too
on now.
good.
It
They had that
is.
awkward air of like we just kissed and like now there's someone in the room
Dude,
and we can't say anything
I
about it.
loved that,
Just
but where they're like, they're
like
not looking at him. They're both just looking at the floor. Oh, dude, I loved it.
and
It
then
was
it's
so
a
good.
rider. Yeah, and then like that locked them back in. They were kind of like, huh? They were like, oh shit. No, yeah, but no, perfect
Ma'am,
scene.
we've
Yeah,
seen Sea Smoke, and she's like, "You cock blocked
he's
me
like,
for this."
fucking
You
really?
know,
They
like,
do that?
yeah.
He's like, they do that? What the? This better be better reason than that. And he's like, no, with a rider. And like, oh, okay, fair interruption.
Yeah.
We gotta
Yeah.
we gotta stand on business now.
Yeah, time to roll. But yeah, no, this is the scene. This was a fantastic scene. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful payoff for something that I I'd been hesitant to believe was a possibility.
Mm.
Um, I'm incredibly thankful they elevated Rhaenyra from being queer coded to actually being queer. That's something that neither show, this or Thrones, had the balls to do with a main character.
Oh, does Alicent somehow hear of this and then know it was possible for them to get, like this? It maybe Alicent, she's so. How
I
can
don't
that?
think the air,
I don't
the
know.
air around Alicent and Rhaenyra's relationship was always not reciprocated by Alicent. I don't think she ever had a doubt Rhaenyra was an actual possibility in Rhaenyra's mind. You know, like now I think she would hesitate to admit it. Like it's sort of a, that's unbecoming. It's
religious.
a sin,
It's like against, yeah.
like it's not what we do. But I think it was like, so what I was really thankful for was that they elevated the character to actually being queer, because Millie Alcock and Emma Darcy both did a lot to make the character feel gay. Specifically in the performances with Alicent, but shockingly more specifically with Millie Alcock. Like Rhaenyra has only had so much opportunity, has only had a couple scenes across from Alicent, and in those scenes they are filled with tension. There is something there, but there was like longing looks from Millie Alcock at Alicent. So like I was really thankful that instead of it just being a performance choice, they went ahead and
it's in here. It's
committed to it.
Clear.
Because they did not have the balls to do that with Daenerys. I was
they
actually
didn't.
just talking to you about this the other day.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Because I'm almost done with the Storm of Swords, which has made clear that Daenerys would hook up with her handmaidens a lot more than the show let on.
I think we arrived that D&D aren't the people to do it, so maybe
I agree.
glad that we didn't get it.
It probably would have been gratuitous, and D&D probably wouldn't have handled it well. This is a really good example of it being handled well.
Yeah. More women in the writing room and on the production. Curious how that works.
We just 18 episodes, in fact, not 20, which I thought. So like they've managed to double the amount of women directors and double the amount of women writers in 18 episodes versus 73 in Thrones. So I'm incredibly thankful.
You know how
I'm
we
incredibly thankful.
Barely got any romance whatsoever in Thrones at all, and even when it was good, it was like, it's what this is just like.
There was genuinely one good romance in Thrones?
Jon and Ygritte.
Yeah. Sam and Gilly is fine.
It's okay, but it's like,
no, it's cute, but it's not like
Rob and Talisa was
that was D&D original as well. Yeah, no, but like when it came to Jon and Ygritte, they were like, upon reading A Storm of Swords, directly adapting material that existed. That was that relationship.
Yeah.
Is written for them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so to the point where whenever Jon and Dany get together, it can't live up to what Jon and Ygritte had. You know what I'm saying? It almost feels unreal that Jon would want anybody else after Ygritte. So like that's,
It's how
I'm
they get
thankful
married
that
in real
this
life.
show
Yeah.
has managed to create romantic tension between so many characters, because I've believed the romantic tension between Rhaenyra and Alicent, and Rhaenyra and Daemon, and now Rhaenyra and Mysaria.
Mm-hmm.
And I believed the romantic tension between Mysaria and Daemon. And adding the layer that was previously unrevealed, that Mysaria was livid with Daemon for telling people she was pregnant.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Whenever she was like she can't have children, it was already wrong of him to lie about that, but now her genuine horror at him saying that really tracks, you know.
Oof.
Yeah.
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 Wow. Yeah, no good. Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, like, so I say all that to just emphasize how much better House of the Dragon has handled romance than Thrones did in general. Like, even Laenor and his man, you know, like whenever their relationship was really well formed, even though it was short and sweet.
mhm.
Lena and Damon even had a more interesting romantic partnership than most of the romances in Thrones. Um, and that
Rhaenys
wasn't even
and
strictly romantic.
Corlys
Rhaenys and
is
Corlys,
like, oh my
yeah, like
god.
it's
Like
like so.
it doesn't have to just like there are straight couples that do it. You know, it's not like they're just actually writing the queer or gay couples
No,
better.
no.
It's
Like
like every romance is
every romance
fiery.
is
Like,
genuinely better. You know, like
mhm.
they're the only one that isn't a good romance is Christian and Allison, and that's because it's not supposed to be a good fucking romance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is well
Yeah.
written, but like it sucks and we don't like it. You know, like that's good. So yeah, I've
Uh,
just been very impressed with how they've been able to handle these situations, and this was, I pray we get to hold on to this for a while, because
mhm.
I want Rhaenyra to be happy. A, she has been sorely lacking in that department. Um, and it's just nice to have the main character in a show be portrayed by a queer actor playing a queer character on one of the biggest shows in the world.
Look at yeah.
That's pretty fucking cool.
It just
Um,
gives more to the performance, and that's like
mhm,
I'm so glad that it's like a performance in character kind of duo nod here.
mhm.
It feels
Yeah,
it just was
it's
a
fitting. Yeah,
great
man.
moment
Like,
for Thrones.
great
Yeah.
moment. And Emma Darcy, God, I love them. They are so fucking good. And but to conclude the episode, Rhaenyra mounts up on Cyrax and heads off to find out what happened with Sea Smoke, and thus
Yeah.
concludes this episode of House of the
Woo!
Dragon.
Wow. Yeah. She is no longer caring about protecting herself. You know, she
Mm-mm.
is the queen. She is the power. You know, and I like this. She is taking charge.
She's reclaiming her agency, you know, like I also love the idea that, you know, smacking Bartimos was the first step, kissing Massaria was the second, but I love the idea that kissing Massaria gives her the like confidence. She's
Oh
like, you know
yeah.
what? Fuck that. Let's ride. You know, like I
Yes.
dig that.
Massaria, like she says that Damon was like her other half or whatever before, but it's almost like Massaria unlocks that other half in her without needing Damon anymore. It's like it
Yeah.
just she's
Feels
she's
right.
full
Feels
again.
right, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It really sucks. I that it's certainly doomed, and that fucking blows. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the way of the show, you know. Any romance, like, it's not just because, I mean, like, it doesn't help that they would be a queer couple. Like, that obviously can't be in the light of day at this time, at this place. But you know, Rhaenyra's all about breaking the glass ceiling here. You know, maybe Rhaenyra goes ahead and gives it a shot anyway.
She's like,
Um,
"Fuck it,
Takes
I'm
a
your
husband,
queen."
you know, she's like, uh, Aegon the Conqueror had two wives. I'm gonna have a husband and a wife. Let's ride. That would be
Mm,
kind of hard. That would be kind of hard.
okay.
I don't believe it. I don't buy it fully. Um,
Possible just arrangement between Rhaenyra and Damon where Damon gets to be the king regent still, but there's just an understanding that they're not romantically tied anymore, and it's just Mysaria and Rhaenyra, you know?
I'd like that. I think it's funny too that this is also somebody who has hooked up with Daemon also.
Yep.
There's if Damon was better, I'd be asking for 3 tickets to Challengers, but
That's fair. Yeah, we would. I don't think Damon can be involved. I
Damon's
don't.
done now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm done with Damon.
Yeah,
I am. Yeah, like I'm like that's why I was like, if Damon was better, I'd be
yeah,
interested
it's
in that. But
too far
he's
gone.
not. He sucks.
Yeah, we have. Even if the whole redemption comes, even if all of this Harrenhal stuff is for him to like
It's over.
forgive and
It's
stuff,
over. It's done.
sorry. Like
Yeah. Sorry,
maybe
bro.
maybe he's like, I do forgive you. I realize we are done, but I will stay with you politically to strengthen your claim. Like, and I will give you my dragon. I will, fight for you. I don't know.
I love that. I
But
love that. I have trouble believing he'll even reach that point. You know, I think he's mostly going to be. I think he's going to be a
like,
foe. Yeah, I
yeah,
think he's going to be an antagonist. You know, and
fuck. Like,
yeah,
that just blows. Yeah, it's
it does.
and Sea Smoke probably is probably joining the other side, which blows. I don't know. Rhaenyra's
I still have trouble. I do think Adam would abstain from aligning himself with Corlys for now. I don't think that means he would go help the war effort in fighting his brother. You know what I'm saying? Like
mm-hmm.
and maybe it does, maybe it does, but it's not like it's Eric and Eric. You know, they didn't have they're not sworn to some oath that they're trying to uphold. Like I feel like their loyalty would be to each other ultimately. It could be the power goes to his head and, he runs with it.
I mean, that's the dude has just said like we've been ignored or he's been ignored his whole life, and like why are we ignoring what we could have? Dude now has a dragon. Like Alan is like, why are you waiting for something that's never gonna
Maybe he
come?
outs himself as the bastard child of Corlys Velaryon and makes a claim for the Driftwood throne. Like maybe that's where maybe his focus is small potatoes compared to the war effort,
He
like
makes
he's
his
like,
own claim. He's like, I have a dragon now. I have that.
I'm the rightful heir to Driftmark, maybe, or something like
Hmm.
that. Like
Because I wonder how this interaction is gonna go. Like, is he gonna make it out of this?
that's the other concern. Does Rhaenyra go ahead and fucking kill Sea Smoke?
I would hope not. Like I don't know how the fuck it works, but like because I want them to talk. I'd rather them just talk it
Oh,
out,
obviously,
Like
of
that's
course.
it feels like that would just I want that to happen, but in Thrones fashion, it's a
She's
misunderstanding that could
mounting this
lead.
dragon assuming that a green has claimed it. Like that's not
I mean, if she sees
Adam.
like
Yeah.
is that possible? Like she just gets close enough to see the rider, and then it's like,
I hope
oh,
so.
it's not.
Yeah,
No
like I
way you
would
could be
hope
on
so.
Team Green.
Yeah, they're
And then
racist.
so yeah, like it may. I mean that I feel like that could maybe just be it. Like she Rhaenyra is the only one who can get close enough to see who the rider is because she's on her own dragon. Everyone else is on the ground, so like they just see the dragon.
Hey, I would love that. And I think I hope I'm not being too there's the other possibility, bro just takes Sea Smoke. Like if you had a dragon now, I'm probably not settling anytime soon, bro. Like I'm flying the fuck away. I'll come back eventually,
Fair
but let's see
enough.
what I can do for a while.
Fair
Like
enough. Does Rhaenyra
I,
even find him? Yeah,
that's
like
where I'm at. He's got an intense head start. They know they know where he was last at, but like
oh yeah, where is he going? Yeah, I guess he is just going somewhere, huh? Like
I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's flying around on a fucking dragon. Like that's what I think. I
is
because
Sea
he's a
Smoke?
fucking human.
Because
Um
does he know like do you have to know Valarian to control and you know? Oh, have you not been recording?
I have not been recording.
I guess I still
Not
have
been
the
recording.
track, so I guess
Oh, that's good.
that's
That's
okay.
good. I
So
forgot about that.
we all
Oh, fuck me.
we all are good,
Uh
but But yeah,
That scared the shit out of me. Okay, well then you'll have some fun editing this one.
it's okay.
God damn. Oh, thank God for the video. But all right. Yeah. Um, I don't know, man. I have a tough time reading precisely what will happen with Adam. I have high hopes. I don't think it'll go as terribly as we anticipate. I do still think it'll go relatively well. Um, but
He does mention the Driftmark throne in this
yeah,
episode. Like,
yeah,
that's homie has a dragon now. He's go. Oh, that's kind of scary. The power's gonna go. I mean, you have a dragon. That's
yeah. Corliss doesn't have a dragon.
ooh, yeah. This okay. Now that it's I mean, it's got to happen fast. Probably like there's 2 episodes. I don't think this is a season 3 thing. I feel like
I don't know. I feel like it could be.
hmm.
I think that there could be whatever agreement or what I think we get, or I shouldn't say I think, I wouldn't be surprised if we get one more scene with Adam and Sea Smoke this season. Just kind of establishing where they are heading or landing or, what side they seem to be aligning with. You know, I don't anticipate this being one of the main storylines for the next 2 episodes.
That's fair. It is brought up. It is new. We have a lot of other things to
We have a lot of stuff to do.
handle.
So like, and that's me with like my lowest expectation. I'm like, it could be as simple as that, but it could be a main focus. So like, I'm trying to temper my expectations in a way that's like, we may not explore this Adam storyline fully in the next 2 episodes. It probably will be a season 3 thing, most likely, as far as fully fleshing out motivations and stuff. Um, in the meantime, it would not be surprising to me. I mean, like, Corliss is the hand to Rhaenyra now. He'll spend most of his time at Dragonstone. Driftmark is unoccupied. It would not be surprising if he just went there and claimed it.
Because who's there to? And how is Corliss gonna? He can't walk in. Corliss doesn't have a dragon.
Yeah.
I guess it has to be Rhaenyra to respond. Yeah. Wow. Ooh, this could be a new player in the game. God damn. Wow.
As queen, does Rhaenyra see fit to legitimize him?
That could be huge. That could pull him back on Team Black.
Yeah.
Like, pretty huge. Be like, I'm not going to ignore you. Sure, Corliss might have ignored you, whatever, but I hear you. I see you.
Yeah.
Like, he could be like, oh, you just want my dragon, you just want me, and then maybe further drives him down that road.
What if I made you the heir to Driftmark?
Just
like
legit, yeah, just legit.
Like, it's not like he goes and claims it, but Rhaenyra's like, you want to ride this dragon? You want to come to our side? I can make you Adam Velaryon, and you can be the heir to Driftmark.
Is it possible Rhaenyra looked in all the previous births and like is Valyrian?
I have a tough time. I don't think there would be record of bastards.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's very fair. So
yeah,
unknown. Very
so like that guy that's in the city, I don't think she has any way of knowing about that.
That's true. That's okay. That's a good explanation of how they actually wouldn't know of him. But I guess Massaria could know of that other guys. Massaria could know, but not Rhaenyra. No way Rhaenyra knows of these that they're the bastards either. So, man, yeah, it is spicing up though. Man, it's crazy now that we do only have 2 episodes left. But I mean, I guess it excites me even more. It's we're getting the shit faster. I don't know. It's happening.
We're rolling.
But
we're rolling. Yeah, no, I've dug it. I've dug it a great deal. But god damn, my dogs are going to town up there. But yeah, with that, I think we can go ahead and conclude this episode of Fire and Bloom. I'm gonna do the plugs, and then we're gonna rate this bad boy, and then we'll see you next week. But if you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and early access content. You can also gain access to our only exclusive episodes of the Penny Bloom Dispatch. It turns out that's going to be starting a lot sooner than we think on the main show. We thought we had every bit of 5 weeks to go, but now it's like 3. So we got a little less time to look out for that. But wow, I am so sorry. My dogs have been going fucking nuts up there. It's really hard to focus. It is extremely hard to focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so patreon.com/pennybloom_pod. You can support us $1.50 a month. But the dispatch is free. It's huge. Costs me money. I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod. You can follow me at Koro_Bloom. Follow at the Fulcrum Pod, because we also do a Star Wars podcast. Our Rebels rewatch begins this week. Star Wars Rebels. Very excited. Episodes 1 and 2 coming out this Wednesday. Or our episode covering episodes 1 and 2 comes out this Wednesday. Very excited for you to hear that. This Friday, Cinema Surprise continues with La Chimera, and I am very, very excited for you all to hear that. Let's see. Yeah. I say we rate this bad boy. How are we feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, I did enjoy the episode quite a lot, but we did kind of talk last night that it is probably still like on bottom 2 of the season so far. And I think it is not closer to the bottom. It's a little closer to giving it that bump. But my kind of gut was around an 8.5 is kind of where I was for the episode. And I don't know if that's overall. I don't know if that's enjoyment. I feel like my enjoyment is higher than the critical score, though. I feel like that's
I mean, enjoyment wise, as far as like the things I liked in this episode, I liked them a lot. I love my favorite scene is one of my favorite scenes of the entire season. I love Massaria and Rhaenyra hooking up officially. That's really, really nice. I like the
food
Adam
delivery.
and Alan intrigue, the food delivery.
Ooh.
So like I'd even be willing to go 8.75 enjoyment, 8.25 critical to find that 8.5 middle. Because 8.25 the critical, I thought this episode was extremely underwhelming visually.
Yeah.
It was not a great looking episode. It wasn't a bad looking episode, but it was just like
par. Like not even par.
Unsubstantial.
I don't know.
Yeah, just kind of existed, and it's fine. Really good performances. The score didn't stick out to me this week like it has in weeks past. The editing I felt was a little choppy as well. I felt like we were going scene to scene in a little bit more like The Acolyte than what House of the Dragon has been doing. Except for one stretch in the middle where we stuck with Alicent for like a while, which was a well edited sequence. So all in all, it was good. It was a good episode of television. But
yeah, I think I like that balance. I like that kind of balance of the 8.75 and 8.25. With our, if we do give the critical the 2 times weight, it would be an 8.42. Actually, if we with the actual overall, which does place it bottom 2. It is second to last. Last episode at an 8. Overall would be at the bottom. But then the next, I guess, is episode 3. Yeah, 8.75. So, kind of in between. But yeah, a little bit closer to episode 3. So that works out well.
No, I'm with that. I'm with that. It was strong. It was strong. It was a solid episode. But yeah, then with that, we will conclude this episode of Fire and Bloom. Go ahead and leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening, and come on back next week for season 2, episode 7, the penultimate episode of the season, as we have discovered. So yeah, got a lot to look forward to there. Come on back next week. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And it is my fault, I think, that you've forgotten to fear me.